Simpson, the wonderful Mr. Boostly UK. Man, we appreciate you taking time to come and talk to the students at Alpha Host Academy. For those that don't know you, Mark, give us a quick backstory. Who are you? What are you about? Tell us what's going on.
Yeah, no, thank you very much for having me. So as you can tell, my accent is a little bit different. I'm from United Kingdom. I grew up in hospitality. I class all of this as hospitality. In the age of 4, my parents, who got a 200-acre farm stay property, they transformed the barn, knocked it down, put 4 bedrooms in, and they created one of the first farm stay bed and breakfasts in our area. Definitely first mover syndrome. It was amazing. This is like in the 90s. So this is before the internet, social media, Airbnb. So they had to really rely on word of mouth, and they had to rely on newspaper ads. But it was really popular because it was in the middle of nowhere, lovely views, ideal for families. And I was just so used to every single day growing up and having strangers in my kitchen. I'd walk downstairs, get cereal, there'd be strangers there. And it's like, okay, this is crazy. But, growing up 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, I would just be just helping where I can, change beds, make breakfast before going off to school and all that jazz. And in my teenage years, I would work at weekends and earn pocket money. And then in very early 2000s, I really wanted to be a soccer player. I'm a big Liverpool fan, but the problem is I'm crap at playing football. So I very quickly didn't work out. So I fell into soccer coaching, and then that's where I got an amazing opportunity to travel around the States. So for 6 years, I would come to America for 6 months, coach soccer, go back to the UK for 6 months, and doing that on a loop. Eventually ended up settling back into the family business. Me and my wife, we moved back to help my family retire. They wanted to get out of the game. They've been doing it for 25 years at this point, and we wanted to help them retire. We wanted to get it all online. And I was so used to social media by then. I was so used to like the world of the internet and whatnot. So I just put all of that practice into this business, and it was 80% bookings were direct. So it was like really direct booking heavy, not very much OTA led. And for the sort of 5, 6 years before we retired them, we were just so used to doing it. Our Facebook page was popping. We were top 3 ranked on TripAdvisor. I was like, this is amazing. And I was so stuck in my bubble, I wasn't speaking to other hosts. And I didn't really realize in 2016 that what we were doing, no one else was doing, because they didn't really know about social media. They didn't know about websites or SEO or anything that jazz. So I started a little Facebook group called the Hospitality Community, and it's still around to this day. And that group was all about showing up every day, showing hosts how to do social media, how to do email, website design, and all of that jazz. And it got really popular. It started as my little town in the UK, and before I knew it, we had people from America joining, people from Germany joining, Australia, and it grew and grew and grew to a point where my wife was saying to me, "Listen, you're answering questions every day. You should really think about turning this into a business." And that's where Boostly was born. It's short for Boost Hospitality, and in the last 6 years, it's grown to be this huge Goliath of a business. It's a worldwide brand. We've got 2,400 clients, website design. We do direct booking training. I wrote a book, which is the book Direct Playbook. And it's amazing. I love it. I get to speak to people every single day about direct bookings and showing people how to not have to rely on Airbnb or Vrbo to bring in their revenue.
So, Mark, can we touch on that a little bit? So you talk about relying on Airbnb and Vrbo for all of your revenue, which before we met you was the situation that we're in. Obviously, we just finished off our direct booking website with you. I think we'll share a little bit later. But yeah, what are some of the disadvantages or risks that you see with not having a direct booking website built out for your business?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. And I think the more that I speak to more people in America and Canada, it's the more the conversations, the first questions that we have is about OTA reliance. In the UK and Europe, direct bookings, I think is more well known, but this is why I love to do this, because we can spread the word worldwide. And the reason why it's important is, well, first and foremost, we are very lucky in this industry of hospitality. There's no other industry that I know of where you can start a business, take a couple of pictures, put it on one or two websites and be pretty much guaranteed to get revenue, which is what we get with hospitality.
That's
Because we're all
true.
about, yeah, I mean, we do website design. I can't go on to websitedesign.com, list my services and be pretty much guaranteed to get revenue.
No,
So in that,
actually, OnlyFans, you could do that on OnlyFans.
only
And Feet
only
Finder, if you sell pictures of your feet, you can make some pretty good money too.
so Feet Finder, OnlyFans, hospitality. Those are the
Yes.
three.
Those are the only
There's not many others that we're going to get into. But with that is that it's a blessing and a curse. And I'm sure that anybody on OnlyFans or Feet Finders will have the same problem, is that it's so easy to get bookings that you become over-reliant, you know. And when you become over-reliant on it, you just go, it's all right, it's fine. Airbnb will take care of it. And it's a blessing on that extent, but it's also a curse, because then you are literally building your house on someone else's land. You are playing by their rules. And at any point in time, they can just click their fingers like Thanos and they could just evaporate 50% of your income, which we've all seen the stories. We've all seen the posts. We've all seen the forums talking about it. And it can be anything. It could be a bad review from a guest, a bad guest experience, or it could be the global pandemic, which we all know in March 2020, Airbnb, without telling any host, just sent out a group message to every booking, every reservation, every guest saying, doesn't matter what the policy is at the property, you can cancel your stay right now free of charge. And I know so many people who didn't make it out the other end of that because they just lost tens of thousands in revenue, because there was no warning, no prior warning. There was no chance for a host to speak to a guest and say, hey, you know, can you change this date to another date in the year, etc. And because of that, it's really important to have a very strong direct booking element into your business. My belief is that everybody should have 65% direct, and then you use that 35% to be OTA. And when it is OTA, i.e. Airbnb, you spread around a few. So you go multi-channel. So you bring in Vrbo, Booking.com, Airbnb, and whatever else are out there. So it's flipping that sort of pivot, where at the moment, I think the industry is very much 20% direct, 80% OTA. Let's see if we can flip it to the other way. So that's why I do what I do.
Yeah.
I have a question. So, what if someone just has like one or two properties? Do you still see value in having direct booking, or is direct booking specifically for somebody with a larger portfolio?
It's a really good question. And the answer is, it depends. It really depends on, it falls down to two categories. Number one, you're either going to be a hobbyist host. Hobbyist host is somebody that maybe wants to be doing this as not their main income. It could be like a third or fourth income or a side income, or it could be just something that you just wanted to do as a hobby. It could be whatever that context may be. Or there's number two, where this is like your business. This is going to be your career. This is going to be driving revenue for you and your family for years to come. And you're looking to sort of start on one and two, but your ambition is to go 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If you fall into category two, it doesn't matter whether you've got one property, two property, or 10 properties. The sooner you start, the better. Because when you can, even with one property, get a property management software behind you, a PMS, and you can then get Stripe going, which is like your payment processor, then you're going to be fine-tuned on this way before many others who have maybe got 5 or 6 properties and are still using the Airbnb iCal to link it back and forth, etc. So yeah, the sooner the better, but it all really depends on why you're doing this. And I feel like those who are watching this right now, I'd like to think that 99% of you are in category 2. So yeah, start sooner rather than later. You might as well.
You know, something about our journey, I feel like you've always fallen in the category 2 bucket, right? When we started, Mark, like I thought of it as more of a hobby or like, you know, a small business. I was like, oh, this is fun. This is cool. We're making money. I can leave my job that I hate every day and do this. But I never had that full vision. And now that we're, you know, almost 20 properties in, I'm like, oh shit, we lost probably way more money than we've, you know, like if we had started back then, I just think we could have made way more money if we had direct booking set up.
Yeah,
so yes,
and get better
like
guests.
Mark said, if you're watching this and you want to make money, and even if you have one property, like think of the long-term vision. Like, what do you really want to do with this Airbnb business that you're looking to start? Is it just a side hustle for you? Then maybe it's not so necessary. But if you really want to make this a business and really make as much money as you possibly can, that is when you need to start thinking about direct booking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like money, but also as well, when you do this and you really figure it out, you can attract the guests you want to be attracting. Like when you have reservations come through an OTA or a third party, they will literally throw anybody at you. But when you
Totally.
do
Yeah.
this like your way and you create your guest avatar, your ideal guest, and your marketing is attuned to that, like your vibe attracts your tribe, right? Massively so. And when you do it this way, you'll just get the best guests, the best experience, and they'll have an amazing experience, and then they'll go and refer you, recommend you. You just get more amazing people through the door. And it's like, yes, the profit, but it's also guest experience. Your houses will get looked after better. You'll get better people through the doors, and you just sort of go down that sort of route as well.
So, Mark, I want to throw out some questions. So, first, fantastic job describing the benefits of direct booking. I think one other thing to add as well is that it's cheaper for the host and the guest. Like, if you have the same exact price, you can actually charge more on your direct booking website, and the guest will still pay less at
Yes.
the end of the day because all of the fees from Airbnb or Verbo, whatever online travel agency you're using, are eliminated. So, I just wanted to point that out, but I want to talk about some of the potential challenges that I always had in my head when it comes to direct booking that were kind of holding me back. The first one for me, like as a traveler, and maybe because I'm a millennial and I'm not like a boomer or whatever generation came before millennials, like I would never, if I want to book a place to stay, I'm almost always just going to go to Airbnb and Verbo first. Like I would never book, like if I wanted to come and stay in the UK, I would
Yeah.
never go into Google and just type like vacation
Gotcha.
rental London. I would just go
Yeah.
into Airbnb and Verbo and type London, right?
Yeah.
So, how, as a direct booking platform, will we find these guests that will eventually make up 65% of our bookings?
And this is like half of the reason why I do this. So my main goal, my main mission is to help 1 million hosts cut down on their over reliance on the OTAs. But in turn, I want those 1 million hosts to then start re-educating their guests. So it's like half of the challenge is re-educating hosts, and the other one is re-educating guests. Because like you said, so many people don't realize that when they book direct, they will actually save money, but they can also get better incentives as well. And by doing so, what then happens is the guest gets a bit clever and a bit savvy. So yes, they may start their search on Airbnb, or they might start their search on Verbo or booking.com or Agoda if you're in Asia. But then what you'll do, if the hosts are doing their job right, is that then they'll find a place, they'll find a profile, they'll find a property that they like, and then they'll run a Google search. So it's about making the OTAs work for you and not the other way around. So then you'll capture a guest from an OTA. So they'll land on your listing, they'll go through there, they'll go, okay, hang on. But because they're being well versed, they know actually, if I find this property directly, I might be able to save a little bit of money, I'll get some more benefits. Then they'll do the Google search direct. And 2018, not a chance that would happen. 2017, not a chance. The tide has been turning since 2019. Year on year, since 2019, direct bookings are going up and up and up because the guest is getting a bit more savvy. The guest is starting to like click around, book around. It's why in 2020, the Hilton chain did a full advertising campaign, hired Anna Kendrick to be like their model spokesperson for it. And the whole slogan around it was "Don't click around." So they know that this is the trend and it's starting to happen. So more and more now the guests are starting to sort of realize they can find a property on Airbnb, do a little search, try and find them on Google search, find them directly, and they'll see what the benefits are. And I always say, and I do it now, if I want a place to stay, I'll go maybe find it via wherever, booking.com, Verbo, Airbnb. I'll find the host direct booking site or whatever they've got. If I go to their website and the price is the same or even worse, cheaper on Airbnb than it is on their direct booking site, I will book on the Airbnb and I'll message them and saying, what he's doing. You've not only, you've lost more money in commission,
Yeah.
all of this does, and the guest is going to get a worse experience. So yeah, it's a massive thing that we have to do. It's a massive thing that I'm trying to do and re-educate the host, but also re-educate the guest, because if we can start doing that, then what it means is that Airbnb, booking.com, Verbo, they have to pay attention to us. Last year, Brian Chesky was on the podcast, the Sway podcast. It was a fantastic interview. The interviewer said to him directly, what do you think about your hosts who want to maybe generate their own bookings? And he batted it off straight away and said, our hosts don't want to get their own bookings. So he doesn't think that we can do it. So it's my mission and job to sort of say, well, we can do it. It's easy to do. I can show you so many ways to do it. There's 101 tips in this book alone on how to do it. And most of it doesn't even cost any money to do. So yeah, it's a big part of what
let's get into that, because you shared some of those in the presentation I saw you gave, which was a phenomenal presentation. Give us maybe like, I don't know, 5 of the most, easiest ways that a new host can start actually driving people to their direct booking website.
Yeah. And the first tip I'll give is a belter, even if you don't have a direct booking website. So even if you don't have one set up yet, but you want to generate your own bookings, the easiest thing you can do, and we did this on stage at Nashville, and it generated a direct booking within 7 minutes, is to use your phone. Literally use your phone, use your contacts, use the people who know, like, love, and trust you. This could be friends, family, ex-co-workers. It could be people part of like your sports team, like other parents on the school run, whoever it may be. Grab your phone, grab a Google Sheet document, and just write down 100 names, as many names as you can. Names, phone numbers, email, social media handle. And all you're going to do is just send them a message with, do you know anyone? These 4 little words, do you know anyone, is going to transform your business. Because the reason why it works is that you're not asking them to stay with you. You're asking if they know anybody. And the way social media is, it's a 2 or 3 degree separation now. It's not 6 degrees of separation. And I guarantee that 80% of people in your phone book don't even know what you do for a living. All you have to do is just put the word out, put the message out, spread the word that you've got an accommodation business. You've got properties in wherever, Joshua Tree, wherever. And all you're asking is, hey, do you know anybody who needs a place to stay? Do you know anybody that is coming to the area? Do you know anyone who's coming for work or weddings or events, whatever? And by doing so, and if you do it at a mass scale, I guarantee you there'll be direct booking revenue in there. And I know so because we tried it on stage, and within 7 minutes, somebody had a booking. And that is the easiest, quickest way, because number one, you don't have to spend any money. You don't have to know social media or the algorithms or hashtags or anything like that. You're just tapping into people who know, like, love, and trust you. And these people will love to support your business. All you've got to do is ask the question. That's number one.
Mark, what a fantastic idea. Like, I don't think we've ever...
I was thinking that right now. So we just took one of our newest listings live. It's a little bit further out in Joshua Tree, in a city called Landers. I wasn't obsessed with getting that property because it is deep in the middle of freaking nowhere. So I thought we were going to struggle. And yeah, we took it live. And this is the first property that it's ever taken us to get those first 3 bookings for. Yeah, so I feel like we should do this. Yeah. Do you know anyone message, Do you know
the cool ones to try it with as well is the people that have stayed with you already. So anybody who's already stayed in one of your properties, already know the properties, love the properties, like the properties, you can send them a message. So we don't get the email address passed to us from Airbnb, for example, but we get the phone number. Mm-hmm. So it could be that you just literally get all of the report from anybody who stayed with you, and your PMS can pull that report. And it could be just a couple of WhatsApps, just quick voice notes just saying, hey, we've got this new property. It's amazing. Check it out on Instagram. If you want to stay here, or any of your friends want to stay here, let me know. Or do you know anyone that wants to stay here? We've got a cool early bird discount. And add a little bit of FOMO, fear of missing out. Just say, for the first 5 people at book, we'll do a discount of X, but only 5 people can have that. So let me know. And that fear of missing out, because they've already stayed with you, because they love the brand, they love the experience, they've left a great review, they're more likely to do it. And if you're thinking, well, I've got so many reservations, I don't know how I could do this. Well, cherry pick, do the 80-20 rule. So what, 20% of reservations brought in 80% of your profit. That could be somebody that stayed for a few weeks, whatever it could be, or just the one that left that amazing review, the one that that had an amazing time. They message you saying, oh, Sarah, thank you so much. I had such a good time. Thank you, Message them. And the best ones to try this on, it doesn't matter where you are in the world, the best ones to try this on are the business guests, because if they've come for business, there's a very high chance that even if they're not going to return, somebody in their organization will be. And all it does is a little phone call, email, LinkedIn message to their PA or accommodation specialist just to introduce yourself. And there are so many wins in doing this. And these wins have been highlighted the last couple of years, especially with COVID and traveling healthcare workers, because all that hosts have had to do, they've dropped a message into the trust, to the accommodation specialist, and they just add you to the extranet. And when you're on the extranet, doesn't matter whether it's a film company, hospital trust, or whoever, Once you're on the extranet, then you're good to go then. It's the hardest thing to get in there, but once you get in there, you're in, because then their accommodation specialists will go, right, we need to find 20 people to sleep in wherever, for whatever it could be, film set, whatever. This is on the property. Let's give them a call. Let's see what they've got. Amazing. And it all starts with a question. Do you know anyone?
Mark, so like say we do this marketing, we find folks, the next kind of big concern. So that was my first concern, right? Is like, can we find anybody, right?
Yeah.
The second concern of mine is, will people trust a website that's not Airbnb and Verbo? Like, even if I'm doing a Google search and say I find this amazing website, this amazing property, like I feel like I will be hesitant to book because it's my first time seeing them. Like, how do I know this isn't a scam? How do I know they're not going to run away with my credit card? Like, how do you combat those fears with direct booking?
So number one, if you've come into the website on a recommendation from a friend, it eliminates any sort of doubt, because a friend has recommended, that social proof is there. And so you've got that know, like, love, and trust factor from social proof. So that's first and foremost. If I'm coming across your website through an Instagram search or whatever, maybe it's like not a direct friend recommendation, but of a friend of a friend of a friend, then there's some really cool tools that are available to establish that trust. One is called I-Prac. So I-prac.com. And the best way to describe iPrac is that it is a global certification accreditation service for the short-term rental industry. It's got the biggest global accreditation platform with 300,000 listings, I want to say. 300,000 listings, definitely a high number. And all it is they put they give you a certification that's on the blockchain. So it's not one that you could just duplicate. It's one that's specific to you. You've got to go through a couple of checks, but once you've got those checks, you've got that on there, and it's a global recognized brand. The other way to combat that, which doesn't cost any money, you just put your reviews from your platforms on your website. So I think that's one of the things that we did for yourselves. So I can see that. So I can show that right now. So if I share my screen, I put this on.
Way to do it.
Yeah.
So one of the main reasons why people leave your website and go and look elsewhere is because you don't have reviews on there. 92% of people will look for a review or some form of social proof before making a reservation. And so many websites don't have real-time reviews. Now, we use this really cool tool that pulls in just your 5-star reviews and puts them on your website. And so it looks on here, 5-star, 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 and it's real reviews. And so people will look at that. So it's a really cool tool to have. And a combination of that and or iPrac, plus to the fact of it, for the most part, the people that are coming to your website, unless you've been doing some amazing blogs behind the scenes, or you've got some really good SEO, which is like a long-term play, the most amount of times that people are going to come to your site is on the base of a recommendation. For example, somebody could be in the office and just saying, hey, so I'm heading out to wherever. Do you recommend a place? Oh yeah, I've stayed with this place. Go check it out. Go check out the link. And then they'll come to your site. So again, getting past that trust is key.
That's awesome, Mark. Yeah, I love the idea of bringing in the reviews.
Yeah.
You know, like that, just seeing someone else's positive experience, I think goes a long way in building that trust.
Yeah, I wouldn't question like, where are these reviews from? You know, you don't think that far past that, you know, as long as you see the stars, the words, then you're like, all right, cool, I believe them, right?
Yeah.
Wait, I had another question. Moving back to how to get someone to find the website. Do you know if it's allowed to, like on Vrbo and Airbnb, in somewhere in the description of the listing, put the link?
So this is a really good one. So you can't directly put a link because the Airbnb system will track that and flag it up, but there's definitely ways to do it. One of the best ways is you've got a personal profile on Airbnb. So everybody's got one when you create an account, but so many people don't make full use of that real estate. And one of the first things that you can do in your personal bio, you can optimize it. And so the first line of the sentence, you can introduce yourself. So put, hey, I'm Sarah, Tony. We are a company called Hideaway House. We've got fantastic online reviews. Come and check us out. So what that does, like in the mindset of the guest, is that they've instantly got a name to Google, a management company name or a company name to Google. they'll go and do a Google search. But also as well, it shows that you're not just somebody who's got one property, because everybody still books on Airbnb, assumes that this is somebody's second house or whatever house. They don't think that it's a proper management company or proper company at all. So by doing that, you already established a trust. It goes, oh, hang on a second. These guys have got like a proper thing going on here. Let me go check them out a little bit more. And by putting that little thing of, we've got really good online reviews, come and check us out, it gets past any Airbnb potential flag, because you've not put a web link in. If you put a web link in, Airbnb are flagging it like that. But by doing it this way, it encourages people to run a search around. Another really cool thing that I see people do, but it is about borderline on the Airbnb system, is in the pictures that they upload, they brand the images. So in the bottom right-hand corner, they'll have the logo on every single image. And I see people get away with it. I see people who don't get away with it, but it's sneaky. I've seen people on their booking.com images, the first image will be a front of the house with like the big logo, phone number, website imprinted into the image. And again, some people get away with it, some people don't. But the surefire one that always works is by putting it in the profile, and as well the description. So the really cool way on the description, the first thing that you should be doing is optimizing your listing with a really good review that you've had. Just copy and paste it on your listing on Airbnb, so it instantly draws that 5-star wow factor. And then you can put a little bit about the property and just put, this is XX owned and managed by insert company name. So again, it's always driving back the brand name. And then when they do that Google search, your website will come up. So it's
cool. So
all
it's
about
like
driving
the seed over and over in your OTA listings.
Yeah. You've hit the nail on the head. It's just planting the seeds, show that you're a proper business, show that you're not a fly by the night, just trying to figure it out. You show that you're a real business, like a proper recognized business. And when they come onto your website, then that's the importance of having a website, is because once you've got a website, you've got a chance now to really brand yourself and create your own mousetrap. So when they land on you, even if they're not going to book that property, they go, well, hang on a second, they've got properties all over and they've got properties over there. And it's just all about introducing them to showing that you're not just one property, you're not just one listing. You've got a brand here, whether you've got 2, 5, or 15 or 20 or whatever you're going to end up on.
Mark, the next question I have is more so about the guest screening. So for us, we have instant book on. We allow pretty much anyone to book our property. But even with that, there's still a certain level of trust, because we know that, if there's any damages, we have recourse with Vrbo through their damage deposit, or Airbnb through air cover. But what about guest screening for a direct booking website? Like, how can we go about making sure, like, I don't know, like mass murderers aren't booking our property?
Well, this is the one. This is the one I want to show you again. So it's Superhog. So Superhog is a guest screening damage protection. It basically shits all over air cover. Like, air cover is just marketing spiel from Airbnb. I know they've tried to make it better, but whenever they make it better, there's other providers out there that can match it and beat it. And this is what Superhog does. Now, this is not my company. I wish it was. I know them really well, and they've worked with so many Boostly people, but they give that confidence and trust to hosts that are predominantly mostly on Airbnb to go the direct route. Because what it does is it links and works in with every PMS. And when a guest does a booking, they get the guest screening to prove who they say they are. As soon as a guest verifies who they say they are, then you are covered up to $4 million. So it's a really cool service. Very, very cost effective, works really well. And superhog.com would be the place that I'd be recommending everybody to go and check out.
So this is for the hosts to set up with Superhog. So when, let's say they go with Boostly, you set up a website, you have your own direct booking website now. Next step is to get a screening company like Superhog to tie into your website and help screen guests. That way murderers aren't booking your place, right?
Yeah.
So, like, do the guests have to do anything with Superhog themselves before they book, or how does that work?
So when a guest wants to make a reservation, that's when Superhog kicks in, and it will send them a message just to say, hey, can you just, confirm who you say you are, X, Y, and Z. They'll do a a guest screening, and then you've got that cover then. I mean, the first things first, what I recommend everybody to do, even before you go for a direct booking website, even before you get Superhog, is to get a PMS in place, a property management software. Property management software, there are 1,400 different providers. It's crazy. So you've got Hospitable, Guesty for hosts, OwnerRes. Those are the ones that are probably more common for like 1 to 5. And then once you get past 5 properties, you then may level up to a uplisting or a hostfully or whoever that may be. And then there's always different levels and different providers as you go up. But I would say that's the most important thing to get, because once you've got a property management software, boiling it back down to the most important thing that I was talking about is that you're not just so reliant on one platform for your bookings. With a property management software, you can have a listing on Airbnb, Verbo, Booking.com, and whatever other little sites. So it means you're multi-platform. So that means your one property is spread in many places. And the cool thing about having a PMS is that you'll never get a double booking, because it will take care of all of that for you to make sure that if there's a booking on Airbnb, it closes off on Verbo, for example, and vice versa, because you'll get some people that are so reliant on Verbo, as in they will never book on Airbnb, but they'll book on Verbo. And it's the same with Booking.com or Hotels.com or Whimstay or the other OTAs that are out there. They'll have different people booking on different places. So it's best to be as multi-platform as possible. I always liken it to when you do your marketing. When you do your marketing, you're not just going to be solely on Facebook. You want to have a little presence on Instagram, maybe a little cheeky presence on Pinterest and LinkedIn. It's the same with your listing sites that you're going to be on as well. You want to be as many places as possible. So that's the most important. Once you've got a PMS, go to Superhog because it links in directly to there. Then you can come get your Boostly direct booking website, and then whatever else you attach on as well. There's so many tools now are being made available for small hosts, like 1 to 5 properties. The technology that used to be only available to 100+ listings is now available to everybody, which is really exciting for me, because at the end of the day, it's all about that guest experience. If that guest experience is 5-star, you will have a referral network from time and time to come.
Mark, you did a fantastic job, man, of breaking down everything direct bookings. We had like a 5. I was opposed initially, not opposed. I wasn't fully sold on the idea of direct bookings. And then we had literally, it was like a 5-minute conversation at that bar in New Orleans. And I turned around to Sarah. I came back. I was like, we need a direct booking website.
And then I had already talked to him. I was like, I know. Yes.
So Mark, before we let you go, man, I know you did a fantastic job building out our direct booking website. So if you wouldn't mind, maybe just kind of showing folks what it looks like, what the finished product looks like, and that way they can get a sense of the amazing work that you do.
No, thank you. No, it's our pleasure. And the cool thing about this is that it's going to be a work in progress, which is the cool thing about websites is that once you get one set up, it doesn't have to be set in stone forever. You can amend it and change it. And I'm always a massive fan of amending your pictures, amending your website, amending your marketing, because there's going to be different seasonal type of guests. So the guests that book maybe for December to February will be different to the type of guest that's going to book for, say, June to August. So the cool thing about any marketing or any site that you do, and I recommend this for all photo shoots, is you've got 2 styles of photo shoots. And this is like sort of next level kind of marketing, but the guest that's going to book December to, say, February, that's going to be more higgy. So the more of the comfy vibe. So it'll be like hot fires, hot stoves, hot chocolate. Where in the summer, it's going to be, pool shots, et cetera, Y and Z. And this is the cool thing about a website, is that you can change up that messaging, several times throughout the year. And what we did is I just took down a couple of the listings that you have, some of the amazing properties, was able to work with the Hospitable, which is who we're using, and was able to basically sync in all of the properties onto a website. So this is a great way, what I was talking about, of sort of showcasing the collection. So if anybody lands on the site, and maybe they may have discovered you because of the Espana or Sunny Vista or wherever, they can come onto the site and go, well, hang on a second, they've got properties, California, Tennessee, they've got properties all over. So even if they don't end up staying one, they might be then more aware of the overall brand, which is the whole reason why we do this. And our sites very, very look the same, but it's all about making sure that you can have a booking site that's as easy as 1, 2, 3, as in they find the website, they run a search, they find a property, and they can drop an inquiry in. And the new thing that we've discovered, which is really important, is this little widget that's at the bottom, which is a WhatsApp or live chat, as I like to call it. So even if you don't use WhatsApp, you can have live chat, because the new age of guest coming out of 2022, 2023 and beyond, it's like we've gone back 10, 15 years before Instant Book. So what a lot of people don't know, but Airbnb used to be inquiry only. It was only recently that they've switched everything to Instant Book, because that was the trend at the time. But right now, what we're noticing is that the guest, the modern guest, coming out of COVID guest, is asking tons of questions, even at the point of booking. And so this is why it's really important to have some form of live chat on your site. And the reason why this is really cool, Airbnb don't offer live chat. Vrbo don't offer live chat. So if you've got this feature where someone can send you a message and one of your assistants or you can just quickly answer back, then you're much more likely to get the booking than somebody else. This is why we've added it to all of our sites now. So it's really cool. So this is what we've been doing. This is why we've got 2,400 sites now, and they follow a very similar vibe. So I'll give everybody the secret sauce very quickly, just in case you want to try and do this yourself. The most important thing for any website, the first impression is key. So what we like to call, this is the above the fold. So when somebody lands on your website, whether it's on a desktop or on a mobile, the first thing that's got to hit them is a really cool picture that grabs their attention. Then you've got to tell them who you are and how to book. So something that grabs the attention, who you are and how to book. So that's why instantly when you see with this here, you've got this amazing property, which I love. A little bit of text. And again, we put everything you need for an Instagrammable stay or standing homes in California and Tennessee, and then how to book. So you start your search here. The next step, once you've hooked them in, you want to make them scroll down. The next thing you want to do is you want to showcase your portfolio. So again, get across instantly, but it's not just one property. This is a selection of homes. Then a little bit about you. So about you, the team, the business. Then you want to highlight your key features, whatever that may be. Locations at a glance, some social proof. And then finally, and this is something that so many people don't put in, is the FAQs, frequently asked questions. And again, if you can have frequently asked questions, it will help avoid many questions that you're going to get. And then my sort of my chef's kiss, so to speak, is the benefits of booking direct. So re-educating the host, but we've got to re-educate the guest. So why should they book direct? And we added in your Instagram because I love the Instagrammable. I love the pictures. I love the vibe. I love the colors. So it's good to have it on the website as well. So that's how we basically broke down. And the most important thing to remember to state is that you got to have 80% of your website information on that homepage, because not many people will leave the homepage. So you want to give them all the information, just like a glossy brochure. So by the time they get to the bottom, they're like, yeah, I'm ready to make this booking now. How do I book? So that's how we broke down the site.
Mark, it's a beautiful website, man.
I
It
know,
looks so
we're so
professional.
excited,
Yeah,
yeah.
and like, why wouldn't anyone book that, man? So before we let you go, Mark, I guess any other
No, I have a
questions
question. Yes.
Yeah.
So for someone like me who isn't tech savvy, can you confirm what is needed? So your company, Boostly, if
Yeah.
I reached out to you and was like, hey, I want a direct booking website, is that what you do? You will create this website for me.
Yes, that's it. All we need is some pictures, which everybody's got professional pictures, which is cool.
Right.
We just need the links to your Airbnb listings and a little tiny bit about us, and we'll do the rest. We've got a
Make the
template.
magic happen.
We make the magic happen. We're trying to make it where all that we need in the future is literally a link to your PMS or just a link to your Airbnb listings, and we can do the rest. The pictures are the most important one. So as long as you've got pictures on like a Google Drive or a Dropbox, we can do the rest. It really is that simple. And the cool thing is as well, when it comes to the words, a lot of people maybe don't have a copywriter to hand or just have like an in-house copywriter. So we have people that we recommend, that we work with, that if you really need help with the words, we can put you in touch with them and we work with them directly. And then we'll put all the magic together. It takes about 6 to 12 weeks to put something together fully. But it's getting shorter and shorter. The more team members we hire, the more staff that we hire, it's getting even shorter. So I think we were able to put yours together in about 3 days. So it was
Wow, yeah.
Yeah.
Like seriously, thank you guys so much.
Yeah.
Okay, so and then once you guys set up the website, then let's say I didn't want to use a copywriter, then you would pass it on to me, and then I would go in and plug in words as needed about us and the description of the properties, right?
Yeah. Oh, it's so really simple. I mean, when you get access to it, you've got a full back end, you've got full control. And I always say it's like getting a turnkey house. So when you buy a turnkey, you can open the door and it's pretty much all of the basics are in place.
So
and
just
if you
like
want to
creating a listing on Airbnb, you just like plug in the information.
Plug in the information. And then if you want to go crazy on it, if you want to go add in all the shiny things, the crazy SEO and all that stuff, you can do. It's absolutely fine. If you want to stick with this, brilliant. But you get full control. It's easy to use on the back end. And if you need help, then we've got a full support team as well. We've got a Facebook group, a really cool support team that will just help you. So if you break it, absolutely mash it up. We can just change it and put it back to what it was. So yeah, you've got help all the way. So we try and keep it as simple to use as possible, but you get full control, full access. And that's the beauty of a WordPress website. Is a WordPress website is the most popular CMS, which is content management system that is on the web. 62% of all websites in the world are powered by WordPress. So we plug you into that. So you've got all the good Google benefits and all that jazz.
Got it. So let's say 6 months from now, we want to refresh the photos. If I'm completely lost how to do that, I can reach out through the Facebook group or somebody, and you guys can assist with that.
Somebody can help. And this is the most important thing, is that a lot of people will get a PMS and they'll just stick with the free website that they get given. Now that's all well and good, but maybe in 6 months or 12 months time, you want to change your PMS. Now, if you say you've built a year with your free PMS website, and if you want to change your PMS in the future, say from Hospitable to OwnerRes or to whoever, you lose your website when you leave. So this is why this is even more important. We're getting so many people coming to us now saying that I've lost my website because I changed my PMS. So by having a WordPress website, you'll never, ever, ever lose the website. You can change your PMS every single week if you want. I don't recommend it, but you'll never lose that core base of a website, which is even more key.
Got it. Okay, cool. Those were my questions. Yeah.
Good questions. Thank you,
Mark. So again, we truly appreciate everything you've done for us, but obviously even more so the knowledge you share with our students here. If folks want to learn more about you, Mark, they want to learn about Boostly, we'll obviously have links everywhere, but just let us know quickly where they can get in touch with you. So
the best place to start would be boostly.co.uk. So boostly.co.uk/website. Go there. Have a look at what we're doing, how we're working, fill in a form, and we can be in touch with the best solution that will fit you best and your model best.
Having a blast, gonna get it on the Boostly podcast. Boostly like Bruce Lee, cause it's so hard and the T is loose leaf. Making up those rhymes, don't write it, just do it loosely.